Teenagers are known for their confusing, angsty, moody phase, but we as people need to go through this awkward stage. It is a vital step in the brain's development. Teens are normally confused, moody, demanding, and anxious, but when alcohol and drugs are added to the equation, the brain undergoes mass reconstruction. One thing that will be harmed by drugs and alcohol is insulation. Insulation takes years to form and is supposed to be a very vital part of growing up. On average, teens drink less frequently than adults, but when they do, it is in large quantities. This is called binge drinking. Binge drinking can lead to a multitude of negative effects in the body's and brain's natural functions. When teens drink, they don't have the same short-term effects as adults do. For instance, an adult drinker may experience slurred speech, dizziness, etc., which leads them to think it is time to lay up on all the drinks. However, a teen brain is less reactive to alcohol's short-term effects, so they won't pick up on the body's hints to stop drinking. Alcohol also interferes with the teen's ability to form memories and keep them. Alcohol and drugs seem to have pretty much the same negative effect. Stay tuned for more information. The parts of the adolescent brain which develop first are those which control physical coordination, emotion, and motivation. The brain develops starting from the back to the front. However, the part of the brain which controls reasoning and impulses, known as the prefrontal cortex, is near the front of the brain, so it develops last. This part of the brain does not fully mature until the age of 25. When drugs enter the brain, they interfere with its normal processing and eventually lead to how it changes and how it works. The growth of the prefrontal cortex is important because it forms personality, empathy, the ability to control impulses, and ultimately one's identity. When a teen introduces drugs into their system, it wants more, which is a common reason teenagers get addicted to drugs so easily. Craving something more satisfying is a common feeling amongst adolescents. This feeling, accompanied with the unrealistic depiction of drugs on TV, can push anyone to trying drugs. However, when a teen takes drugs, it can interfere with its natural ability to feel good. This is how a teen gets addicted to drugs. The brain is made up of billions of nerve cells. Nerves control everything in the body by sending electrical signals throughout the body. The signals get passed from nerve to nerve by chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. Some of the signals that neurotransmitters send cause a feeling of satisfaction or pleasure. This is a natural reward system that makes sure our bodies look for more of the thing that makes us feel good. An example is when we eat something yummy. Neurotransmitters tell us we feel good. Looking for more of this pleasure helps to ensure that we don't starve. The main neurotransmitter of the feel-good message is called dopamine. All drugs pump the body with an unhealthy level of dopamine, which send too many pleasure signals. To regulate the amount of dopamine, the body's brain will let out less pleasure signals. This causes usually fun activities to seem boring and unsatisfying. As time progresses, the body needs more of the drug to feel the same high as before. The effects of drugs don't just end when the high settles. When a person stops using drugs, their dopamine levels are low for an extended period of time. This will cause the person to feel glum or somber. Over time, the brain will eventually restore the naturally needed level of dopamine, but it depends on the strength of the drug. If the drug user misses that high before their dopamine levels are regulated, they will resort to using drugs. Then, they won't be able to retain the natural high received from life's simple pleasures and become addicted. Because us teens have overly active impulses but lack the capacity to consider consequences, we are especially vulnerable when it comes to temptation of drugs and alcohol. Because of the way drugs and alcohol affect the brain, our ability to recover is weakened. We should not use drugs or drink alcohol because it harms both our bodies and our brains. Your brain shapes who you are and your identity. It allows you to think, breathe, move, speak, and feel. The brain is much more complex than we know, so we should all treat our brains well. Read a book once in a while.